Hi, back again for our second lecture on Gematria. Please look at the first lecture first if you haven't seen that, because these are following a particular sequence and you do need to follow them, at least for the first 5-6 lectures. After that you could probably jump around a bit. We have done, in the last lecture, we covered the placement value, which is called PV for short. The placement value was A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, all the way down to Z is 26. And we just gave a particular example of the special pattern that was in the first 9 numbers. I was working on my second book, which is called The End of Evil, and this book is like a commentary on the Bible in a way. It goes from the story of Adam and Eve, it goes through like stories of Noah and the flood, it goes through the story of Balak, Balaam, various stories, and it goes all the way up to the coming of the Messiah. So I was writing about the prophecy in Isaiah, and Micah also says the same prophecy, that the sword will be made into a plowshare. And the word plough is spelt 2 different ways. The one that I had in the Bible I was using was spelt that way. And that plough, if you use the placement value, where P is 16, L is 12 all the way along, and you add them all together, you will get 79. And if you do sword, where S is 19, 23, 15, 18 and 4, and you add all that together, you'll get 79. And that was the first time I thought in terms of, well, when two things are equal that are connected, at least within that verse, then there was a connection, there was an idea of opposites, of one thing becoming another, like a transformation. So I thought the lesson here was that war was going to be transformed into peace. The iron that's used for making a sword will be used for making a plough. So I looked at the word war, and I found that was 42. And I looked at the word peace, and that was equal to 30. So that really sort of blew that idea that war can't be transformed into peace because they're not the same number. So I thought, well, it's got to be able to do so, because otherwise this prophecy won't come true. It's an idea that there has to be this equality. That was going on in my mind at the time. So I tried a new system. What I did was I took the numbers of the letters. A is 1, B is 2, and I worked out, as we did in lecture 1, the values of the words. So 1 we worked out to be 34. That was 15, that was 14, and that was 5, gave me 34. 2, the word 2, is 58. The word 3 we had was 56. We get to 26, so 26 equals 159. So these are bigger numbers, so I call these the LV, large values. And using this system, here is the large values. The A is 1, so A is 1 and 1 is 34, B is 2, 2 is 58, all the way to Z is 159. So using those, for the word war and words war and peace, we get the following. So war, to show you what the values are, W, which is 23, is 163, A is 1, is 34, and R is 73. So we work that out, 163 plus 34 plus 73. If you add those together, you get 270. If you do the same thing for peace, you get 96 plus 42 plus 34 plus 56 plus 42. We get 270. So then I put LV to show that it's the large value. So I've got an equality here. Oh, that's interesting. Would that work for other words? So I had two words which I knew had the same value. They were power and glory. They occur in the book of Psalms a few times, and in Hebrew they are kavod v'oz. Kavod is glory or honor, and oz is power or strength. In fact, in Hebrew, we haven't done that yet, but the word for glory is kavod, and placement values gives you 11 plus 2 plus 6 plus 4. Hebrew reads in that direction. So I write the numbers that way. So if you add all those together, you get 23. And Oz is 16 and 7 is also 23. So we'll look at the English, power and glory. Power was equal to 77. And glory was also equal to 77. So I had it in the placement value in both the Hebrew and in English being the same. In fact, in my book, The End of Evil, I have an appendix which I show various different languages, a few I think 3 or 4 European languages, French, Spanish, Italian, Latin, and I show that they do not have equalities with these two words. Translated into these other languages, there's no equality. But there is in English and there is in Hebrew. Using the large value, P becomes 69, O is 65, all the way. I get now a new value of 439, and that's the large value. I'm doing the same for glory. Glory is 60, G is 65, L is 67, all the way, and I add it together, I get 439. So in the large value, I have the same for glory and power, both in the placement value and in the large value. I then discovered that you could actually add the two together, and in some cases you get also equalities. So we'll have a look at an example of that. An example I'm going to give you is of David, King David, who took the place of King Saul. Saul was the first king of Israel, but he was from the tribe of Benjamin. And Jacob's blessing to his sons, so that the scepter will not go from the tribe of Judah. So really the kings needed to come from the house of Judah. And David is the first king of Israel that came from the house of Judah. So let's look at Saul. Saul has a placement value of 53. And he has a large value of 348. That's the placement value. That's the large value. As I think I mentioned in the lecture 1, it's always good to work this out yourself to get the real feeling about it. You would need to have a chart and make this up so that you know what the values are. You've got S is 86, A is 34, U is 141, L is 87, and you add it together, you get 348. So you can check me out. Add those together, and you get 401. David, who came along and replaced Saul, placement value is 40, and the large value is 361. Add those together, 401. So in this value, which I call the whole value, because WV for whole value because I was adding two together to give me the whole value. Later on there are other combinations, so the name stuck, but it's not really the whole value. But that's historic, because when I was writing this book I discovered also the whole value, and those were the three systems that I used in this book until I discovered some more. So there's more to come. So we've got here an example of David and power and glory. So that's the whole value, and that is the large value, and they come together with the placement value to form the whole value. So that's the lecture 2. We'll be going on to another system soon, and please follow me and give me a like, and if you have any comments, let me hear from you. So we'll see you in lecture 3 very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.